So in this video, we're gonna be discussing some stretches for scoliosis. We're gonna be strengthening, we're gonna be stretching, because I think it's important to elongate some tissues, and we're also gonna have to tighten up other tissues, but they're all gonna have to be long and strong. You don't want anything to become weak and underused, and that can happen if you're always kind of shifted off to one side. And so we don't wanna be shifted off to one side, because then that creates some asymmetries and it gets pretty cattywampus pretty quick. So we'll go over some kind of like glides, and then we're also going to go over some like open kinetic chain work, and that will make more sense in a second when I go do it. So watch. Put our hands out to the side. And what we're going to do is pretend like we're in concrete up to our hips. I don't know how good my microphone is, so I'm going to come over here and talk. Pretend you're in concrete up to about your hips. Here. So we're not going to be moving our hips like salsa dance. We're going to be nice and tight. And it was here. You can have your hands this way or this way. It doesn't really matter to me. And we're going to shift off to one side. We're trying to touch something over here. And then we're going to shift back to the middle. We're going to shift over to the other side. Like we're trying to touch something. Shift off to the side. Boom. Shift off to the side. Look at my hips. Hips don't move. Hips stay still. So it's not, that's not right. Shift this way. So we're shifting left and right, and as we do that, you're gonna feel some muscles kind of in your side body, right around there. Ooh, big stretch, and then big stretch. So, this is my pubic bone, this is my chest. As I shift, look, my hands don't line up. So if my arms down, I have a little pocket right here, a little pocket right here. And so you'll see, if you have a natural weight shift, sometimes it presents like this. And so if you just relax and aren't paying attention, you'll say, oh, there's a little bit of space on that side of my body and no space on that side. That means you're shifted this way, you know? So you might have to consciously reshift yourself to align with those muscles again. So the next one we're gonna be thinking about is kind of forward and backwards. So the hips stay still. We're gonna push our back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. Again, the hips are staying in one position. Chest goes forward, glides forward, and then chest goes back. I feel like I'm a nerd, and then I'm like, what's up? You wanna fight? Nerd. Oh, sad. What's up? You wanna fight? Puffy chest. Boom. So the shoulder blades will rock forward and back with this. But it's not just the shoulder blades, it's the whole thing's gonna move together, and you're just trying to, again, keep those hips still. So we got glides left, right, we got glides forward, back, and you can put them together and you can kind of do like a peppermill. So a little bit more complicated after you practice those quite a bit. You'd go side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back. You don't have to have your hands there, they could just be, it could be anywhere actually. Side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back. And so it's a really low stress way to kind of move all the vertebrae around and get some perfusion of good blood into those areas. It's also going to neurologically connect you with your spine so that you kind of like know where you are in space. And so this starts to feel like a certain way. You know, you're like, you start to realize, oh, this is like the side thing. And if I want to correct that, I can go this way. Oh, I've gone too far. Ooh, 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 ooh. And you can kind of play with yourself in space. You should have the same amount of space under both arms. Too much, too much. And you'll notice that if you stand in front of a mirror with a t-shirt off, or even with a tight t-shirt, whatever. So glides. So those are one thing that we can do. Another thing that we're going to be thinking about is our thoracic spine. So the thoracic spine has 12 vertebrae, and in those 12 vertebrae, they're all supposed to rotate just a little bit. And if you put all that rotation together, you're supposed to get quite a bit of rotation all through the ribs. And so we're going to make sure our ribs are still rotating well, because if they rotate well, it allows the rest of the spine and the back to function in a good way. So, easiest thing to do, I like this one. Hands forward, hands backwards. Like you're walking. Just walking, boom, boom, boom. And then I'm gonna try to bring my shoulder to my chin. Shoulder to chin, shoulder to chin, shoulder to chin. So one shoulder is going backwards, one is forwards, and switch. So my chin's staying still, obviously. I'm reaching. Go 45, so you guys can see from that angle. A lot like throwing a punch. So if the ribs can move nice, that's going to open up the whole system, and that's going to be nice too. Next thing we're going to talk about is these open kinetic chain circles. So you do these standing. I'm going to do the kneeling just because I think I fit in the camera better. So here, we're going to lean to the side. So I'm going to start with lateral flexion, lateral flexion. So we want to go just straight this way. There's going to be a tendency to roll the shoulder forward. Try not to do that. Try to stay up, armpit up to the ceiling. Left side, right side. By looking up a little bit will actually help keep you in a good line, because if not, you're probably going to start doing this, and that's just something slightly different. We want to do this. So lateral flexion. Then we're going to do forward backwards. So again, concrete, up nice and high. You really want to be stuck in the mud here, because there's going to be a tendency to want to kind of move from the hips. Oh yeah, you can round a lot if you move from the hips, but that's not what we're doing. So we're staying tight here, squeeze your butt, and we're going to round just the upper spine, your ribs, you know, T-spine, and then we're going to arch up, just T-spine. So not full back bend, just this upper part for right now. Upper part. This way. I like to lift my elbows because it helps me get that extension. So this is distinct. So we're just doing thoracic spine, forward, backwards. And then if we wanted to get this really big, we could do a full rounding, so still keeping your butt squeezed. So look, then if you want to add the lumbar, see I'm getting more flexion, and then I could go really into extension, still keeping my butt squeezed. Really into flexion, really into extension. And then you can add those together. So you can do side bending. So again, look, you can also side bend from just the ribs. That's kind of how we were doing it before. So right now we're just going to do the ribs, and then we're going to go just the ribs, just the ribs, just the ribs, just the ribs. It might help you to change your hands at every point. It gets a little complicated, so do what works good for you. Just focusing on just the ribs. And then if we wanted to, after you do, I'd say 10 repetitions at least in each direction, you could go for, I've done that for 10 minutes in each direction, and I thought that was really nice and healthy. Taught me a lot about my ribs and gave me a major soreness. You could do, you got kind of whole spinal flexion. So now we're looking at really leaning. Oh, see the difference? So ribs, whole side body. So now we're catching these intercostals, we're catching these obliques and the erector spinae and all that. So, oh, big, and then we're gonna round forward. Oof. Big on this side, big lean, and big lean. Big leans. So we got big leans, and we got small ones. On the side, big lean, big round, but look, my butt is still tight because this is rounding through my spine. I'm trying to do spinal work here. If I stick my ass out, oh, look how far I can go. But now I'm stretching my hamstrings, and that's not what we're trying to do right now. So keep it tight. Boom. Boom. Again, keeping like everything straight and tight. I'm not doing that. That would just be another variation, a deeper stretch, but it can be the wrong stuff for right now. Right. So again, small means small, 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 small. And then we got big, big lean, big lean, big lean. Right. So two variations, and those are open kinetic chain, spine circles. Great. So sit tight. I'm gonna get a bench, and I'll show you one more thing.